Hello, everyone. This is Walter Yu with Caltrans, Clean California Program Director. Now we'll be presenting my research on the Clean California Program evaluation. The question is, where do litter hotspots exist on the California highway system? So Clean California is a three-year program established by the governor himself, Gavin Newsom. And this is for Caltrans to beautify our state right away with both projects, state and local, and with litter abatement. And the litter abatement component is roughly half of that $1 billion budget over 3 years, going from 2021 to 24. So this evaluation focused on the litter hotspots because litter activities will continue to be conducted by Caltrans. And so in order to preserve that investment and also be more efficient moving forward, the research focused on how to identify these hotspots and therefore how to deploy our crews much more effectively moving forward. So the research was conducted quantitatively with three different data sets. Shown here on the graph here is the litter collection component, but there was also analysis of the visual assessment data, otherwise known as level of service, conducted by Caltrans staff, and also the public visual assessments reported by the public. And so on the chart here, and I'll go through the results here, the first is that the litter hotspots, one of the results and findings was that they primarily were in urban corridors. And this was part of the hypothesis going in. Anecdotally, we had heard back from a lot of our maintenance staff that the litter hotspots and regeneration of litter was very high in urban areas. So the chart in the middle here is focusing on the corridors with the highest litter collected total. The measurement is in cubic yards. So for comparison, 3 cubic yards is about one dumpster. And so as you can see on the chart, this is for five of the highest litter collected corridors within the Los Angeles area. So on I-5, 110, 101, 110, and the 405, we can see that there is quite a lot of litter being collected, almost 70,000 in the case of the LA 110 corridor. And this equates 70,000 cubic yards equates to 21 Olympic-sized swimming pools filled with litter, over 500 semi-trucks full, or 7+ statues of Liberty. Take your pick of the metric. The color shade there is the type of activity, which is for internal uses to show us how we're distributing our forces to collect all this litter. Another finding was that the litter collected did correlate with our visual assessment scores. And so again, there's a correlation which really validated that the way litter is being collected to the way it appears on the highway is correlated. This is a secondary finding. And finally, as I mentioned, the high litter generation rate will require a sustained level of effort, which is intuitive. More litter, more pickup, and then again, it does return because it's being generated by the public. Third and final slide here is the discussion. So shown here on the bottom is an example of the visual assessment scores, and this is by corridor in Solano County in our Bay Area district. And so these, again, as I mentioned, correlate with our litter collected. And so the next step here on the capstone is that we will be implementing it within Caltrans, converting the research that was done using Python programming code into data dashboards. And together with that, monitoring our litter collection along with our visual assessment scores as shown below will help us do adaptive management to deploy our crews and resources more effectively. And then finally, as I mentioned, that sustained level of effort. So as we continue with our litter abatement activities, even though the Clean California program has officially sunset, we will continue with these efforts. So by adaptively managing our resources, we'll be much more effective and efficient in our data collection. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.